Hi everyone, Janie here, and today I want to share a really cute gatefold window card that I made for my husband for Father's Day, and I would like to show you how to make it and give you a couple of tips that make it even easier. So let's head on over to my craft table and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Before I get started on the tutorial, I just wanted to share how I made my card. So I wanted this to be like you're in the house looking out a window. And so what I did was I used the Sunflower Sampler digital paper pack from MHK Designs for this paper. I thought it was perfect for that. And this Happy Father's Day sentiment was cut out with my Cricut, and I really wish I remember which cartridge I used to cut that out, because actually my daughter's the one that cut it out. And so now we're going to go outside, and the grass that you see across the bottom, that was also from the same Sunflower Sampler pack from MHK Designs. And I just tore that and inked that. And then this really sweet image, which I absolutely adore, is from Great Impressions, and it's called Potted Puppy. And it's an actual stamp, and I just love it because it looks like one of our little fur babies. Her name is Zoe, and she loves flowers and butterflies. And I thought, what a perfect card to give my husband for Father's Day from Zoe. So isn't that just a precious image? And I colored that with Inktense watercolor pencils. And I added a sun, also from a Cricut cartridge. And You're My Favorite Human, and Kick Me, but I don't remember where that came from either. I actually made this card a month ago, and my daughter helped me with a little bit of it. Okay, so now that I shared that with you, let's get started on the tutorial. The first thing I did is I took an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock and cut it in half. So it is now 8.5 by 5.5. And we're going to score that at 2 1/8 inches, which would be just right there. And we want to score it at 2 1/8 inches in from this side, which would be 6 3/8. But for me, it's easier to just turn it around and then score it again at 2 1/8 inches. So now that we've scored it, we're going to fold in on the score lines. Use your bone folder to smooth it out. And there we have a regular gatefold. But now we're going to get on to how to make the window. Before we start the next step, this would actually be a good time to add any paper or cardstock that you're going to be adding to the front of this, unless you've already made this out of a patterned cardstock. So do that before doing this next step. So for the next step, which is where we cut the opening, you're going to need 2 dies, whether they're square or round or whatever shape that you want to make your little window. You're going to need 2, one just smaller than the other. And for this, I am using, let me see here, 1 5/8 inch and 2 1/8 inch. And we're going to use the smaller one, the 1 5/8, to put the opening on this card. And you can choose to put it at the top, the middle, the bottom. It doesn't matter, but it does have to be in the center for the card to open properly. So I'm going to find where I want it located. And then I'm using little Post-its. You can use washi tape, whatever you would like. And I'm just using that to hold the die in place so that it doesn't move. And then at this point, if you want to, you can take a pencil and mark where the die goes. That part's going to be cut out anyways. No one is going to see it. So you're marking the opposite side right now so that you make sure you get your die put back in the right place. But there's also another way to do it if it works out right, and that is once we cut this, the die should still be attached to your cardstock, and we can lay it down and it should lay right back where it belongs. In fact, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to add one more piece of Post-it just to kind of ensure that it is stuck really good. Now we're going to open this up because you don't want to cut both sides at the same time. It'll cut right through the back of your card. So I'm placing this just on the edge of my mat so that the folded edge is right there. And I'm going to run this through my Cuttle Bug. You can use whatever die cutting machine you have, a Big Shot or whatever. And I'm just going to roll that through. And then so I don't put my arm in your way, I'm going to roll it back, hopefully without getting my arm in your way. Okay. Now we're going to do this carefully. So I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to fold it right back so that the die is exactly where it belongs. And now I'm going to move my little Post-its here to the other side. So as you can see, the die stays exactly where it was, so everything cuts perfectly. And if there's ever a glitch, if you have that pencil mark there, then that's just added assurance that you're going to get it in the right place. So again, I'm just going to put this to the fold, and I'm going to run it right back through here. And back. Okay. Now that we're done, we can remove the die. We don't need the little extra pieces that were in there. And there's your little window. All right, now you're going to want a frame to go around your window. And to make that, you're going to take another piece of cardstock and you're going to take the larger die. And in this case, it's 2 1/8 inch. And we're going to run that through here. Just to make this easier, with less chance of mistake, I'm doing this one piece at a time, but I am going to tell you, let me grab this, if you're really good, you can line these up together like that and run them through at the same time instead of having to run this through twice. But I was worried that I couldn't get in the right position here with the camera to do that, so I'm doing it separately. So there we go. We're going to create a frame. And I'm going to add a couple of pieces here. I'm so glad this stuff is reusable. So I've got my little Post-its holding it together. I'm going to run that through. Wiggling around here on me. Okay. And now you have a nice little square that you can use for something. And you have a frame for your card. Here's the card. Here's the frame. And I'm sure you can think of your own way to attach that frame. but I'm going to show you the way that's easiest for me. And to make it easy for us to see what we're doing so that we can see the opening, I'm just sliding a piece of paper in here for right now, just so that we can see that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the frame just to one side to start with. So let me add a little of this. Let me see, I'm going to be using Zig two-way glue because it's easiest on this this little frame. So let me get that on here. And I'm going to line that up so that it looks good all the way around. This is difficult to do on camera because I can't just get my nose in there to do this. But I'll do the best I can. Okay, so there we have the frame. But let me see if it, there we go. What we're going to do now is we're going to open this up and turn it over. And right next to the edge, we're just going to go clip. And the same thing right up here, right next to the edge, clip. There we go. Now we just need to put glue on the back of this half of the frame. Get that on there. Okay. And here we go. Let me put this back in so I can see what I'm doing, or so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line it right up with the edge. And it's sticking to my fingers while I'm doing this. And there's your frame. And it just opens right up and closes right up. So now that we have that done, the only thing left to do, because by now you've already put your paper on the outside, unless it was, you know, already had a design, or maybe you want to leave it plain because you're going to be stamping things on the outside. But now you want to put something on the inside. So what you need to do is figure out where the center is and make sure that your image is going to show through there before you stamp it, or if you're, you know, attaching something dimensional. And the center is going to be 2 1/8 of an inch from either side. So that much you're going to know to start with. And then it just depends on where the placement of your opening is as to where the center is. And for this one, my center is probably about 2 3/4 and 2 1/8. And you just put your little image in there, put in your sentiment, add whatever other embellishments that you're going to add, and you're going to have a really cute gatefold window card. And it was really easy to do. There is so much you can do with a gatefold window card, and I'm sure you have a ton of ideas of your own. So happy crafting, everyone, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.